Hello and welcome to Katrina's Creations. This is day 18 and I'm actually filming in my living room. You can hear I have a wall clock. You can hear it. It's like over here on the wall. So let's see where we were yesterday. I had a tonal orange. It was orange and yellow, but so far just the orange is showing. So there it is here. So the square I picked today is going to fill this little corner. Oh, and I'm holding it backwards. There we go. It will fill this little corner right here. So then I will have a rectangle, as you can see here. So let's get ready to draw. Sounds like I've got a raffle going. I'm going to draw. Yeah, let me, whoops, one just jumped ship. Hang on. One fell out of the tub. Okay, let's see what we have here. It's a purple. It's a purple and a pink. The dog just tried to get up. She thought it was a snack. No, this is yarn, honey, not a snack. Anyway, here it is. So it's kind of multicolored. So that's going to go in that corner for tomorrow. Now today we are going to be talking about what my children nicknamed my artificial ancestors. Our former house was decorated like very colonial, very early American, and I thought it would look neat to have some old pictures, hanging on the wall. However, hang on, someone wants to make an appearance. Just a minute. There we go. The puppy was wanting up. I say puppy, she's like 10 years old. She thinks there we go. She thinks she's a puppy. So anyway, my house was decorated in this early American style. I went to a cheap antique store looking for some antique photographs that I could hang on the wall. So I found these three ladies. Actually, there were four at one time. I can't find where the other fourth picture is. I wish I could, because in the picture, the lady looks like she is wearing jewelry that was made out of hair, which was very typical in the Victorian period. They would take a loved one's hair, especially if they had died, and they would braid it and make jewelry out of it. It was called mourning, I'll spell it down across here, mourning jewelry. So that's kind of what it looked like, but I can't find that picture. However, I have these three pictures. This is the oldest, I believe, and it's actually a tin type, which means it's printed on tin. It's very sharp on the edges. You could cut yourself very easily. And then we have this one, and I do then know the names of these ladies. This was Jenny Lord. The first one I showed was Mary Jane Russell. And then the last one is Mary Armstrong. So, and it's funny, the third one, or the fourth one that I had, I think the lady's name was Mary Adams. So Mary was apparently a very popular name back then. So anyway, I am going to put in closer footage of those photographs and tell you some of the things when I Googled about these ladies that I learned. So I thought it was kind of interesting. So I am going to insert that footage, and the puppy and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Say goodbye. This is Artificial Ancestor number 1, and I got these at an antique shop, so I did see her name. It's not written on the back. On the back, it actually says William Brown, photographer, 70 North 4th Street, across from the Everett House in St. Louis. Now, I looked up what the Everett House was, and it was kind of a conglomeration of shops that were called the Everett House. And this photographer's house is now gone, but where it was is the park now in front of the arch in St. Louis. So, yeah, the block where this was actually at is now gone. Now, her name was Jenny Lord. I do know that she is more than likely from the 1860s because she has, when I bought this photo, there was a picture, I don't know if it was a husband or another family member, but his last name was the same, and the pictures were very similar, except he was wearing like a captain's or a cavalry outfit in the picture. So it leads me to believe this is Civil War. And I can't get the picture to focus real well. I will try to take an individual picture and show it to you so you can see it a little close up. But she is actually wearing a snood in the picture, so you can, when I put the photograph in, you can see it. You can see it right along the edge here, but you can especially see it right here on her hair, the way it's hanging, that she's got a netting that her hair is actually in. And I can also date it because the shirt, her shoulder, the dress is off of her shoulder, and that was kind of a style where the shoulder seam hung below the shoulder. I think it was supposed to make women look more graceful and soft, so they kind of made the shoulders look more angular. So that is Jenny Lord. Then we have this one. This is the oldest one. This is actually a tin type, which means it was printed on, it's on tin. It's not on a piece of paper. And they actually tried to colorize it. Let's see if I can turn the light on so you can see it. Her cheeks are just faintly pink. And then at the top here, you can see there's some writing. It's Mary and there's a J. So I'm thinking it was either Mary Jo or Mary Jane, and her last name was Russell. And again, you can look at her outfit and see that her shoulder seams are off of the shoulders. And based on the width of the dress here, she's more than likely wearing a hoop skirt. But I think the interesting thing, she does have a ring on this hand, but it's not on her left hand. But her hands are very big in comparison to her face, if you look at it. So, and you can also tell that this is the type picture where they had to really hold their pose for a long time, because she's got her arm balanced on it like a tray. It's not a table. It's like a little metal post right here with a ledge on it. So apparently they put this so she could balance her arm on it. So, but this is the oldest one that I've got. Now we come to the most interesting one. Now this one is an older woman. She's probably in her 40s, it looks like in this picture. And you can see her full dress. It doesn't look like she necessarily has hoops on, but it looks like she has a lot of petticoats on. And from here down is like one big giant ruffle that kind of tears all the way to the back and drags on the bottom. Can you imagine walking around and how dirty the bottom of their dresses must have gotten? But the interesting thing with her is somebody wrote on the back here, Mrs. Armstrong, Calvert Street, Baltimore. So I did a little Google research, really not expecting to find anything. I actually found information about this lady, and the Wikipedia or information about her actually showed this particular photograph, but just her face. But it was this same photo. And again, she is leaning against like a podium type of thing to stand, to be able to hold still. So let me tell you the information I found out about her. Her name was Mary Joanna Millard Armstrong. She was born in 1828 and she died in 1903. So if she looks like I said, she looks like she's in her late 30s or 40s in this picture, that would make this picture being taken in the late 1860s, early 1870s. We actually know where she lived. There was a notice about her obituary. She lived with her sister at 801 North Calvert Street. That house that she lived in has now been torn down, and it is a like a little corner park. So she was born in Washington, D.C., and she's buried in Rock Creek Cemetery, which is also just outside D.C. She married a man named Josiah Armstrong in 1847 on October 12th. She was age 19 at the time. They went to Corpus Christi, Texas, and she went there with her sister and her sister's husband. While they were there, after only 10 years of marriage, her husband died. So after her husband's death, she moved back up to Maryland, to St. Mary's County, and she lived with her mother. Now she was I believe the youngest of 13 children. And so she moved back with her mother, and they lived on a farm in St. Mary's County called Belleville. Now, St. Mary's County was the first area of the United States to be settled by Roman Catholics, which makes sense because she later went to Baltimore City, and she lived with the sister that she had been with in Texas. And that sister was quite a few years older than her, because like I said, she was the youngest of 13 children. So her sister's name was Rebecca Millard Britton, and her sister was born in 1806, and this lady was born in 1828. So you can, there was a 22-year difference between them. The sister she lived with was the third from the oldest of the children. So she stayed with her sister the remainder of her life. Her sister died only a few months before she did. I believe the sister died in January. She died in January 18th of 1903. And then this lady, Mary Millard Armstrong, she died in April 1st of 1903. So they died only a few months from each other. And like I said, they're buried in Rock Creek Cemetery. And they attended, like I said, she grew up in St. Mary's County, which was a predominantly Catholic county. And she attended St. Ignatius Catholic Church, which was actually right directly, like catty corner across the street from the house that they lived in Baltimore. So I was really kind of pleasantly surprised to be able to learn a lot about this lady. So these were, like I said, my artificial ancestors.